Radio check, loud and clear, loud and clear. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in and welcome along to the coverage here in Austria. We have got free practice 3 and qualifying here today. In 30 minutes time we'll have free practice 3 and in 4 hours time we'll have qualifying. A lot of action to look forward to, of course, in quali, and in free practice we'll be getting the final sort of qualifying simulations that from all of the teams as they build up to quali. Yeah. All right. So what else? We'll run through what happened yesterday, and then after we've done that, we'll talk about what we should look forward to for today. And once we've done that, I'll take you through a couple laps of the circuit, and then by that point, qualifying. FP3 will have started. So the first thing being free practice 1, free practice 2. There were some rookies driving in free practice 1. We had Alexander Dunn from Ireland driving the McLaren in place of Lando Norris, and we had Dino Beganovic driving the Ferrari in place of Charles Leclerc. Those two drivers were stepping in as rookies from Formula 2, and you've got to say a standout performance from Alexander Dunn. He delivered a fantastic free practice 1 session and managed to keep up with Oscar Piastri. Was the quickest driver in the high speed corners out of all 20 drivers, not just beating Oscar Piastri, beating every single driver on the grid in the high speed corners. So, you've got to give some props to the rookie, Alexander Dunn, and you've also got to give some props to McLaren for designing a car that's so drivable that a rookie can just hop in and go quickest out of the pack. Then we had free practice 2 where we had Leclerc and Norris start driving for their first session. Lewis Hamilton had a floor upgrade in free practice 1 and in free practice 2. He didn't get much driving done in free practice 1 because he had a gearbox issue. That, though, was resolved in time for free practice 2. Regardless, though, the pace improvement wasn't huge, it wasn't significant, and he said that it wasn't the best start to the weekend when asked in an interview afterwards. So yeah, they'll have some work to do, and then will have done work overnight. Really, they will have had the test drivers in the car, and they will have found a little bit of a better setup for the car overall. Yeah. Hello MCG, hello Exoteric, nice to see you guys are here, and Mike and Actual F1 fan and Shivanash. Is Ferrari keeping the upgrades? By the looks of it, I think they are. They will have made some more changes to the setup to, make the upgrade work a little bit better. They will have put the upgrade on Charles Leclerc's car. Maybe he can get it to work, but I don't think they're just going to back out of an upgrade for no reason really. Yeah. Okay, so 27 minutes till we get underway for free practice 3, and yeah, apart from that, we didn't really have any sort of big crashes or anything like that of that sort. We had a couple of drivers locking up. I think Ocon had a big lockup. Fernando Alonso had a spin or so. But apart from that, it was pretty standard running for all of the drivers yesterday. Yeah, like of course here in Austria with these huge braking zones down into turn 1, turn 3, turn 4, you are going to have some lockups and the drivers are going to have to get used to that, modifying their brake balance settings, brake bias settings on the fly as they go through the corners, but that's pretty standard stuff really for Formula 1 drivers, and they will have tuned those settings, so today they shouldn't have any more issues. Okay. We did have Charles Leclerc cutting the grass. Yes, he was being the fastest lawnmower the world has ever seen in the Styrian Hills, just cleaning up some grass there for the circuit owners. But all of the drivers, they will have modify the setups overnight, and the engineers as well, and those issues should really die down, and we'll be getting towards the qualifying simulations where the drivers will slowly start building up their pace for the quali session, of course, that's to come. Yeah, do you think Lance's FP2 practice will correlate to quali? Well, you had a really good lap in FP2, but the thing around here in Austria is that it really depends on your level of pushing, like as with all circuits really, but Austria especially. Like if you are pushing in the middle sector and in the final sector, you can gain loads of time compared to a lap where you're not pushing. So Stroll may have had the same fuel load and the same downforce settings and engine modes as Fernando Alonso, but if he was just pushing a little bit harder from a personal point of view, then his lap time, that difference in lap time can be explained. So I'd say the performance that we can see from Aston Martin will correlate slightly, but I don't. So I wouldn't be expecting Stroll to be up in the top 5 in quali. I say maybe get through into Q3. That's definitely possible. Ferrari do look to be Aston Martin do look to be the 5th fastest team. In fact, slightly pipping Williams as well. If you look at the qualifying simulation pace, so we shall see what happens with those two teams. Which one of them two come out on top? But in terms of raw pace, it is the McLarens that are the quickest. There is no real doubting of that. However, if all of the drivers do hook together their perfect laps, then Max Verstappen would not be that far off the back of Oscar Piastri. And I also would like to say George Russell would not be that far off the back of Oscar Piastri as well. So the Mercedes and the Red Bull are around about 1/10 of a second back from the McLarens. Not a huge margin, not a huge gap, and that can definitely be closed up with a good quali lap or even a tow. If you can get a tow, if Tsunoda makes it through into Q3, they sacrifice Tsunoda, give Verstappen a tow down the straight, then he'll be on level pegging with the McLarens through the rest of the corners. F1 Gamer, what are your predictions for quali? I don't really know. Don't really have any predictions as of right now. Yeah, I'll let you know in the quali stream. Really, as of right now, I don't know. Is the Austria old layout better or new? Actually, I don't know what the old Austria layout looks like, but I would quite say I quite like this layout. Just the sheer amount of overtaking opportunities and action that we get on this circuit is fantastic. So I would, I don't know what the previous layout is, but I would still prefer the current one. Mm. Do you think Kimi is going to be a world champion one day? Well, see, a lot of drivers do have the pace to be a world champion. I would say if Charles Leclerc was put in the world championship winning car alongside Max Verstappen, we could have maybe seen him win a championship. If we saw George Russell, maybe if George Russell was in that Mercedes, then maybe if Charles Leclerc was in the McLaren, if George Russell or Charles Leclerc are in the McLaren, then maybe they can win. So it's not just about outright pace. I think Kimi Antonelli has done a pretty good showing. He's scored a podium in the first half of his rookie season, which is incredible. So if he continues improving at this rate, then yeah, he definitely has the pace to win a championship. The question is, will he have the car at any point in his career to do so? Yeah. When did Austria change its layout? I think it looked the same at least since 2000. I think before 2000 it used to be called the A1 ring, and then they changed it from the A1 ring to the Red Bull ring or the Austria ring or something. I'm not sure of the exact name, but it used to be called the A1 ring, and that's when it had a different layout, which is quite a long time ago. Yeah, F1 Gamer, can I get your Discord if you donate again? I think the Discord is for channel members, but if you just want to be in the Discord, you can join the channel member for a month and then just leave the next month, and you'll still get the link. So yeah, um, yeah. When does quali start? Well, we have got a timer for that. I've set up a timer. I've been meaning to do this for the last couple of races now. But at the top right, there is a timer for when qualifying is starting. It is in 3 hours and 50 minutes. Top right of the screen, folks. Okay. Osterreichring, yeah. Okay, it was called maybe I've said that wrong, but Osterreichring. Um, F1 Gamer, can we get a plug? I don't know exactly what that means, Mike, but I guess I could plug Surfshark VPN because I haven't done that yet. If you guys do want to watch the Formula One coverage for only $2 a month, you get Surfshark VPN using the link in the description. You join an Austrian VPN server, you go onto Google, you search ORF, and you make an account, you log in, and you enjoy. The website and the coverage is in German, so you will have to translate the website, and you will have to, well, mute the German coverage and listen to my commentary instead. But you can, yeah, you still get to watch the coverage and you still get to listen to the commentary. So I would say it's a pretty good deal for $2 a month. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, go ahead and check it out. There's a link in the description. Alright, we are 20 minutes away from the start of Free Practice 3. Let's run through what should we really expect from this session. The teams did a lot of running yesterday on all three different compounded tyres. We saw a lot of running on the softs, a lot of running on the mediums, and on the hards. So yeah, the teams will now they will have modified their setups overnight. They will probably do one more run on the mediums, maybe one more run on the hards, and then I would say from the last 35 minutes or so of the session will just be soft tire runs of the drivers preparing for qualifying, building up their pace, and yeah, so the first 25 minutes or so long runs, and then the final 35 minutes will be short runs. Mm-hmm. How many compulsory stops? Just in free practice, no compulsory stops or anything like that. But in the race, it'll be a compulsory. You need at least a one stop. You can do a two stop if you want, and it looks like a two stop might actually be quicker, but it will depend on track temperature and the conditions of the circuit. So I guess we shall see. Is Nico Rosberg's dad Keke Rosberg from Finland? I, for some reason, think that he is, but I am not 100% sure. Because I know Nico Rosberg raced under the German flag, but these drivers do have quite a bit of, if you grew up in a certain country and then you were born in a different country, you get to sort of choose which flag you race under. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure Google would have the answer. Okay, a couple other things to look out for will be the Mercedes. So we had a look at the cooling packages that the teams had yesterday. Mercedes brought some tweaks to their cooling package, and this is particularly strange, really, because Austria isn't that hot of a circuit. We saw air temperatures up at 24 degrees, which, may be hot depending on where you are from the world. But, when we race in Singapore, when we race in Australia, in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, track temperatures are much, much hotter than that. And that's when the teams have the big cooling packages, the maximum amount of cooling that they can get. But Mercedes, for whatever reason, were running a huge cooling package on George Russell's car compared to Kimi Antonelli's car. Antonelli had the small typical cooling package that you would see at Austria, and Russell had a huge cooling package, which is very strange. Now there could be some benefit to that. Firstly, we have seen a sort of a rise in issues in the Mercedes power unit. We've seen some with Williams, some with Aston Martin, some with Mercedes, not any with McLaren, but maybe they're testing out a different cooling package to see what the performance is like of the engine in different cooling situations, or they may have found some aerodynamic benefit by running a larger cooling package, which is not something that you would typically see, but Formula One is all about innovation, and they could have come up with some clever solution to have a big cooling package and also have good aerodynamic performance. Yeah, so we'll see if George Russell is still running this big cooling package today, or if he will have reverted back to the small cooling package that his teammate Kimi Antonelli was running. But yeah, it was interesting. Mercedes did mention that in their sort of upgrade notes, that they brought a different cooling package, but I just thought it would be the standard Austria one. But no, a different cooling package. It was very odd, but we shall see what happens. Um, Oh, actual F1 fan. I mean, you can. I do remember that you have donated in the past before. So if you send me an email at, or if you send me a DM on Instagram, actually that'd be easier. F1 underscore gamer underscore 5. I'll send you a link to the Discord. But there's really not that much going on the Discord, to be honest. Still yet to get that properly up and running. All right, 15 minutes left on the clock. We have got, yeah. I'll take you through a lap of the circuit. There should be it's a pretty good circuit, to be honest. Not that many real corners. If we count the number of real corners, well, in fact, we'll do that on the onboard lap then. So let's go. So you have your onboard. If you're spinning at the final corner, if you touch the inside curb, you don't want to really be doing that. But yeah, so what you do is you head down the back straight here and you just flick the car to the right for the penultimate corner, and then the same thing for the final corner. Smooth exit onto the start finish straight. Open the DRS flap, of course, up into 8th gear, 315, 320 Ks, brake at the 80 meter mark. This is the first real corner. Exit in 4th gear all over the exit curb, but don't go over the sausage curb. The sausage curb will lose you a lot of time. Then you go up the hill towards turn number 3 technically, but really the second corner of the circuit. You brake from 8th gear all the way down to 2nd gear, miss the apex a little bit because it is actually quicker to miss the apex, then hug the inside line as you go down the next straight, open the DRS flap, of course, for the 3rd DRS zone of the circuit, brake again at the 80 meter mark. Now downhill braking, very easy to lock up, carry as much speed as you possibly can, hug the right hand side. So that was the 3rd real corner. This is the 4th real corner here, downshift into 4th, probably should do it into 5th really. Carry the speed, go over the curbs in quali, not in the race. You risk damaging the car too much through if you do it through the entire race. And then yeah, this is the 6th real corner. Flick the car to the right, 7th gear, and then now 5th gear for the final corner. You get a little bit of understeer with the tyres overheating, but then that is the end of the lap here in Austria. Not that many corners, to be honest, but it is still very difficult to get it absolutely perfect. And yeah, it's still a really good challenge for all of the drivers. Yeah. Give me a sec. Let me just move this to the bottom right again. There we go. All right. Yeah, folks, there is a quali timer here in the top right. So anyone wondering when qualifying is starting, that is when it's starting. Yeah. It is the most simple circuit in F1, I would say, but it's still a very, very tough challenge. What the FIA have done now is that they do have gravel on the exit of all of these, on all of the corners where track limit is an issue. So on the exit of turn number 1, there's gravel. On the exit of turn number 3, there was always gravel there. On the exits of turn number 9 and 10, the final 2 corners on the circuit, there's also gravel on the exit there, so the drivers do actually lose a significant chunk of lap time if they exceed track limits, which means that there isn't really that much advantage to exceeding track limits. Like, you will just lose your lap time and get it deleted, and also you'll lose lap time as well. So yeah, none of the drivers will be exceeding track limits. I will still keep an eye out if race control are deleting lap times, because it still will happen occasionally here and there, where the drivers miss the gravel trap, but they still do exceed track limits. Safety car by any chance? Well, we'll have to see tomorrow, but there's always a lot of action around this circuit. There's, at least if there's not safety car, there's definitely loads of overtaking. So I don't think we'll be having a race where I'm going to be yawning while commentating. Ravi Singh, thanks for your nice message. Yeah, I really appreciate your hard work behind all the information. Keep up the good work. I love driving this track. In racing sims, the elevation change is so fun. Indeed it is, and in the racing sims, the elevation change isn't even all that accurate. The hill up in towards turn number 1 is super duper steep. The drop going into the final corner is so sharp that the drivers in real life can't actually see the apex of the final corner. So yeah, the elevation change is actually huge around this circuit. You don't really notice it, but that also makes it tricky. You know, it's a simple track if you look at the sort of layout, but then you look at the nuances of every single corner. There's always something tricky. At each corner. Turn 1 will have the sausage curbs. Turn 7 will have the huge amount of understeer while you're getting onto the power, and turn 4's got a downhill braking zone. There's loads of different things that the drivers have to take into account to get the perfect lap around this circuit. The red line on the map is, so we have got the start finish line here. The red line here is the end of the first sector. This is also the DRS detection point for the next DRS zone. This purple dot here is the speed trap, and then this red line here is the end of the second sector, and then of course this is the third sector to the start finish line, and this of course is the DRS detection point for this straight and for the next straight. Yeah. Okay. Am I reading it wrong, or is it 0.9 degrees? No, the air temperature has been slightly cut off. It's 24.9 degrees. Track temperature is 33.8 degrees. It's nice and sunny out in Austria. There were the Porsche Super Cup cars racing there before. Now we're going to have the Formula One cars get onto the track in 9 or so minutes. Yeah. Are you a Red Bull fan? No, not particularly. I mean, Seb Vettel is on my wallpaper. I think if I can I show you my wallpaper? Does it? Let's see. Yeah, maybe it shows up actually. Let's see. Yeah, there you can see. It's. I don't actually think you can see Seb Vettel's car, but well, you can see the car. You can't see Seb Vettel himself. But yeah, I've got Vettel on my wallpaper. Like, I'm definitely a Seb Vettel fan. But yeah, he's not driving anymore, so I'm try to be an unbiased commentator. Do my best. Mm-hmm. The Steven Spielberg track named after the famous director. True story. Ah, yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Of course, Spielberg is named after Steven Spielberg, the movie director. I'm sure he's Austrian as well, for sure. All right. Did you watch the F1 movie? Yes, I did, folks. Folks, what did you think of the F1 movie? I definitely watched it. I watched it. In fact, the first show that came out, the first show that was available in my local area, I went and watched it. And I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't accurate. It wasn't. If you want a sort of documentary style information thing on Formula One, like that's not the thing to watch. However, I've got to say it was very fun to watch if you can gloss over the sort of small mistakes here and there. Well, not small mistakes, pretty large mistakes. But no, I'm not going to spoil it. I know that a lot of you folks haven't watched it. I will probably talk about it a little bit more in detail at the Silverstone Grand Prix next weekend, where we'll be racing at the home circuit for a lot of these British drivers. Of course, we've got a lot of British drivers on the grid: Lando Norris, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton. And then, of course, a lot of the teams as well. Oliver Behrman, also British. And, yeah, a lot of the teams are based out in the UK. So, yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit more in detail and have some spoilers next week. So if you guys are interested, then watch it beforehand, I guess. But the spoilers really aren't that deep. Like, you could probably figure out what's going to happen in the film just by watching the trailer. It's a pretty cliche sports film. Mm-hmm. The best racing movie is still Le Mans, made by Steve McQueen. I personally quite like Ford versus Ferrari, but to be honest, I haven't watched Le Mans by Steve McQueen, so maybe that's going to get added into my list of movies to watch. Oh yeah, Rush is definitely the gold standard. Like, of Formula One films, Rush has got to be up there. I think of pure racing films, Ford versus Ferrari is pretty good. Um, yeah, I mean Talladega Nights is also technically a racing film. It's not exactly the most accurate thing in the world, but it's still pretty funny. Yeah, if you've watched Talladega Nights, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, we are 6 minutes away from the start of free practice 3 here, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. And if you have not subscribed, be sure to do that as well. Hope to see you guys for the quali stream, for the race stream, and for the rest of the races this season. We are in for an action-packed season, and we've only got a couple of points between the drivers in the top three in the World Championship. 22 points split Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, and I think we've got 23 points or so splitting Lando Norris and Max Verstappen in second and third position. So that's going to be a fantastic season. Red Bull have brought some upgrades this weekend, so have McLaren. McLaren have got some suspension tweaks. Red Bull have got some floor upgrades. Mercedes have got some interesting cooling package with George Russell. Maybe that's making their car faster, maybe it's not, but they were certainly testing something out yesterday. And then we've got Ferrari with a big old floor upgrade, which we still don't know if it works properly or not, because Hamilton was running it yesterday, however had a gearbox issue, so the Ferrari team could not fully evaluate if the upgrade works or if it does not. So I guess we'll figure out today. They will have done some simulator work overnight. Charles Leclerc will have had the upgrade fitted to his car as well. So both drivers will be on level pegging going into free practice 3 and quali. Oh, okay, 21 point splitting Max and Norris. Apologies for the mistake. Don't you have to reset the timing board? Indeed, I do. Thank you for reminding me. Let me give the data a quick refresh, and yeah, we'll have the data up on the screen in about 40 seconds, folks. 40 seconds, and we'll get the data up onto the screen. Who's on pole today? Well, McLaren's look like they have some really good pace. However, Max Verstappen has got 5 wins at the Austrian Grand Prix circuit, so I'm not going to count him out. And George Russell has been on a roll. So this is I can't give you a prediction really, because it's just too close to call. Either one of the two McLaren drivers, or Max Verstappen, or George Russell. There is no way that I'm going to be able to tell you, unless, maybe at the end of Q2 I might be able to give you a much better bet of who wins, but not right now. Yeah. Alex Dunn, Cadillac 2026. Maybe. He will have turned some heads for sure by going alongside Oscar Piastri in FP1. That really would have turned some heads and got people talking about him, which is exactly what he wants, really. There are loads of drivers in Formula 2. A lot of them do have the pace to make it up into Formula 1. However, a lot of them don't have the financial backing, a lot of them don't have the sponsors, and a lot of them just don't have the eyes on them that Alex Dunn will have now. So I guess we'll see. Also, I was talking about the elevation change here in Austria. There's a 63-meter difference between the lowest and the highest point on the circuit. The lowest point is the exit of the final corner. The highest point is turn number 3, the big hairpin at the end of the second straight. And 63 meters of elevation change. That is pretty huge. And we've got sunny skies out in Spielberg, ladies and gentlemen. Track temperature is 32 degrees. Air temperature is 23.8 degrees. The sun is shining. We've got some clouds here and there, but at least one half of the sky is pure blue. Alright, Shivanash, I'd appreciate if you didn't type every message in the chat about 4 times. When you want me to answer a question, I will read your question. And no, I'm not a Ferrari fan. I answered the question. I'm a Seb Vettel fan, so yeah. But as Seb Vettel would say, everyone is a Ferrari fan. So technically, I guess I am a Ferrari fan. Charles has steering issues again. The radio glitch never gets old. Yeah, I don't know why the radio glitch does that. But yeah, they will have those issues. Well, I don't think the radio glitch is ever going to go away. But I don't think Charles has got understeer at turn number 80 and oversteer at turn number 90, because turn number 80 and 90 don't exist. Okay. We got 2,500 people tuning into live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in, folks. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. And we are now 1 minute and 45 seconds away from the start of the session. So yeah, not long now. We'll get the drivers out onto the track very, very soon. They're all sat in the grid. It looks like they will be coming out ASAP. And yeah, Max Verstappen looking at some data while he gets ready now to go racing. The expected pitch strategy, I think it's a two-stop, but Pirelli haven't released their official results, because basically what Pirelli do is that they get the tire wear data, or they at least look at the tires after the teams have used them, and then from that they can predict what the strategy is going to be, and they normally release that Sunday morning, so just before the race gets started. Pirelli will release a document saying, oh, this is what we think the fastest strategy is going to be, this is what we think is the second fastest strategy, and etc. and etc. So yeah, that document hasn't come out yet. That'll come out tomorrow. Okay, looks like we're going to have some tyre glitches like we did yesterday, with some drivers on some question mark tyres for the first half of the session, but hopefully those issues do get resolved quickly. F1 needs a new tyre supply. Yeah, it'd be interesting actually to have Pirelli, maybe Bridgestone, maybe Michelin come into the sport. But, Pirelli, we give them a lot of flack for their tyres not being, their tyres not wearing out too much, and making the races boring, and all the drivers do is tyre conservation and manage the temperatures and stuff like that. But you also have to think about it. The task that Pirelli have been given is extremely difficult. They've got sort of these hard imposed limits. These tyres have to be able to take up to 5G of force. They have to be able to decelerate at huge speeds. They have to take like 5 tons worth of downforce onto the circuit. And then they also have to wear out quickly. They also have to be resistant to punctures. Like Pirelli have got a lot of difficulties in making these tires. Like, it's a very complicated thing. We think, let's just stick some rubber onto the circuit, and it'll be good to go. But the tires are super duper complex, and any other manufacturer that does want to come into the sport will have to put a lot of investment into their tires. Bridgestone, Michelin, they'll have to do a lot of research and development work before they can actually join Formula One. All right, folks, the timer is ticking down. FP3 is underway. Qualifying is in 3 hours and 30 minutes, as you can see at the top right of the screen. But no drivers out on the track yet. Charles Leclerc just getting into the garage right now, and he'll be putting on his balaclava and helmet and get ready to go racing shortly, but all of the drivers sat in the garage. Also, the old groove tires were nice. We could see how much they were worn as the viewer in front of the TV. Yeah, that's actually good point actually. Maybe Pirelli could do something to sort of indicate, to show how much the tires get worn out. Sometimes you can see from the TV footage, like you can see these sort of lines forming if there's been some graining or something like that. But on the whole, it's a little bit difficult to tell if the tyres are worn out or not on the Pirellis. You just have to listen to the team radio messages, which sometimes are inaccurate, sometimes they are accurate. Who knows, really? ORF is blocking VPNs, no way to see it. You can use SRF apparently. SRF is the Swiss TV version. So if you connect to a Swiss VPN and then Google SRF, then apparently that one works. So if ORF isn't working for you, then SRF might be an option. I just want to see the 2004 Ferrari on slicks. Probably could be faster than the W11. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the groove tires that the 2004 Ferrari was on, it still holds some lap records at the circuits, and I think only in 2018 maybe, was the 2004 lap around Monza broken by the Ferrari car. I think Kimi Raikkonen's pole lap in 2018, and Monza broke the 2004 lap from Michael Schumacher. So yeah, that car was 14, 15 years ahead of its time. Like, the pace was incredible from it. And that was on groove tires. With the modern Pirelli tires, who knows how much quicker it could go. Will we have a wet race tomorrow? Well, I shall look up the weather again in Spielberg. Maybe things will have changed, but yeah, I'll just give it a quick Google search. Spielberg weather. What is it saying? The weather for tomorrow is nice and sunny, folks. The chance of rain is very minimal. Sunny all day long. Track temperatures should be in the 29. Oh, sorry, air temperature will be in the 29-degree range. And the thunderstorm warning that was present yesterday, that has gone to zero. So there is no thunderstorm warnings as well. So it looks like it will be a dry session for the race tomorrow. But now we've got the drivers making their way out onto the circuit. The first drivers, Aston Martin's Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso, make their way out onto the track. The session already started, but nobody's just come out onto the track yet. We just got Stroll and Alonso, first cars out onto the track. The Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3 columns, those are going to tell you the lap times. Once the drivers start actually driving around the circuit, they'll have the lap times, or the sector times for each part of the circuit. Michelin have a lot of experience in WEC, and the top cars are quite close to Formula 1, so they should be a good choice. Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good point. I didn't actually know that Michelin made the tyres for WEC, but since you've just told me that information, I think Michelin could be a good choice. Okay. The 2005 Renault and McLaren were taking corners like Copse and Silverstone flat out. It's insane how fast those cars were in the mid 2000s. Yeah, and they had the V10s as well. No electric power or anything like that. Just pure screaming. In fact, I saw a sort of comparison video. Of the opening lap of the Belgian Grand Prix, I think in 2012 with the V8s, and then I think in 2015 with the V6s, and the difference is ridiculous. The amount of noise that the current fans are missing out on is wild. And that another thing is, I had a friend that went to the Hungarian Grand Prix last year actually. And he said that the biggest thing that surprised him was the noise and just how incredible the car sounded. And he watched it last year, with the V6s. Imagine what the noise would be like back in, with the V10s or the V8s. It would be so cool. But we got Verstappen now out on a flying lap. He's on a set of hard tyres, so we're not going to be expecting blisteringly quick lap times from him. Last year's pole time from Max Verstappen himself was a 1 minute 4.3. Yesterday from I think it was Lando Norris, we dipped down into the 1 minute 4.5, so we were only 2/10 or so off last year's pole time yesterday. So yeah, I suspect we'll be reducing, the lap times will be dropping even further this today in 3 hours and 23 minutes time. Oh, I know the comparison video. You can hear the V8s way before you could hear the V8s way before you see them. Like it just chills through your spine, basically, of those screaming V8s. In fact, there's a video up on my channel. It's the only video I have up on my channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a comparison of Formula 1 engines right from the 1950s, back in the day when we had all the V12s, the V10s and all of that. And then comparing it through the years, the 1950s, and then we had the turbo era, and then the naturally aspirated era, and then the V8s, the V10s, stuff like that, and then all the way to the V6s. So do let me know. Go ahead and watch that if you guys are interested. It's pretty easy to find given that it's the only video up on my channel. I went to Brands Hatch in F1 in 1998. Amazing race, but the noise was deafening. Indeed, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that if Formula 1 got the correct partnership, and I've suggested this idea before actually, it must have been about half a season ago that I suggested it, but Yamaha, they tuned the exhaust for the Lexus LFA, and the Lexus LFA is regarded as one of the best sounding cars, one of the best sounding road cars that exist. And Yamaha tuned that exhaust specifically to make the car sound good. Yamaha have a lot of sort of motor racing experience. They go, of course, do MotoGP. They also have a lot of music experience. They make pianos and guitars. In fact, my electric guitar that's here is a Yamaha electric guitar. So, Formula One could, if they wanted to, create this sort of partnership with Yamaha where they design custom exhausts for the 2026 regulations just to make the car sound as loud as possible and as cool as possible. That way, you still have all of the eco-friendly stuff of the V6s and the turbo hybrids and stuff like that, but then you also have the amazing sound, and that could be a pretty good idea. But who knows? Someone's got to get on the phone with the FIA and let them know of this idea. Max is out on a set of hard tyres, so that's why his lap times are in the 1 minute sixes and not down in the 1 minute fours. Sector 1 US, that is the mini sectors. It's basically telling you each sector is split into even smaller sectors, and if the bar is green, it's saying the driver's going quicker than their personal best. If the bar is yellow, it's going slower than their personal best. So just here, Max Verstappen, he's going through the first sector. His first couple of sectors, they were purple, and then he got yellow sectors after that, because he's now backed out of his lap. So that's essentially what it's sort of telling you. Like, now we know that Verstappen's backed out of his lap because these sectors are all yellow. Yeah, it's just little extra pieces of information. Uh, okay. You should do more YouTube videos. Yeah, I probably should. The thing is, making a good quality YouTube video, because I ideally, if I'm going to make a YouTube video, I think it should be a good quality. It does take a lot of time. Thankfully, now university is finished. At least, well, I'm on my summer break for university, so I can actually make some videos. So I will be making some in the next couple of months. But yeah, to make sort of a 15-minute video or so, it takes around 4, 5, 6 hours. Um, yeah, quite a while. Maybe even longer. But yeah, the blue means the drivers are in the pit lane. Green means it's their personal best. Purple means quickest out of all drivers, and yellow means slower than personal best. Hello, Kiers. Nice to see you here. Dinner time entertainment. Why not? Why not? All right, 49 minutes left on the clock here, folks. We've only had 5 cars come out onto the track. Max Verstappen, both of the Alpines, and both of the Aston Martins. Everyone else still sat in the garage. The track temperatures are 33 degrees. It's ideal to do some quali sims right now. Track temperatures are super duper low. You're not going to be struggling with the overheating tyres that you typically have around Austria, especially in the final couple of corners when the drivers are really struggling for grip. With the track temperatures being 10 degrees lower than expected, maybe even 15 degrees lower than expected, the Pirelli C5 tyres should be able to cope very nicely. Yeah. V10s can come back in F1. Only problem is engine manufacturers don't want to, as their F1 tech is applied to the road cars. Yeah, that is the other thing, really. These teams do a lot of development. Mercedes have done a lot of development of the turbo hybrid cars, and then that hybrid technology has gone into their road cars, and you can sort of save on R&D that way. And Ferrari will have done the same, and the same thing can be said for Audi and McLaren. So yeah, there's of course that aspect, and you can't really have V10s anymore with the new emissions regulations and stuff like that. So it's just the way the world's heading, and I think rightfully so. To be honest, the world is getting pretty toasty. Hmm All right, we have got track temperatures at 33 degrees. I think they're going to stay the same. It really depends on the clouds. The forecast suggests that the clouds are going to clear up later in the day, so maybe track temperature will go up, but we don't really know. The weather is pretty unpredictable in the sort of the Spielberg area of Austria, just due to its location around the Alps and all the mountains and stuff like that. It makes it just that little bit harder to predict the weather. And to be honest, even here in the UK, you can't really predict the weather all that accurately. All right, Verstappen's still having some twitches on his car as he's coming out the final corner, but improves on the previous lap and up into a 105.8. Yeah, Gasly in the chat says my dominance could bore fans. Indeed, it could. But you're on a set of medium tyres, and you're a second back from Max, who's on a set of hards. But clearly, no. Gasly's doing some long runs. All of these drivers will be doing some long runs most likely, because you might as well get some experience on these lower track temperature conditions. Car is Verstappen saying the car is getting a bit nervous back on the throttle at turn 6 and in the last corner. Every time I try to put the power down, it's a bit snappy. So yeah, an interesting complaint really from Max Verstappen. It's pretty typical of Formula 1 cars. As you try to wind on the power, you've got a limited amount of grip. If you're steering and also accelerating at the same time, then you go to exceed that grip limit and then you start getting a snap. So yeah, Verstappen, of course, he's getting onto the power a little bit early, but he wants to get onto the power early so he can carry more speed through the straights. So the team will have to investigate. Maybe they'll put on a little bit more rear wing angle. Maybe they'll modify the suspension settings, make the car a little bit softer so you can transfer the load a little bit better and have a little bit more grip. Why is Max not using the soft tyres? Because I guess they just want some... they want to see how the hard tyres can do. Because this is another thing. They're doing some short runs on hard tyres, which is interesting. However, this sort of data they're gathering now is what is precisely useful for an undercut strategy. If let's say Verstappen is riding along in, like, say, third place in the race, and he's going to try and undercut the driver in second place, the ideal race strategy will probably be using the hard tyres. So what Verstappen's doing now is doing push laps on hard tyres to see how quickly he can go from like cool down tires, essentially. Like his tires will start out at 80 degrees, similar conditions to what he'll be doing out of the pit lane, and then these lap time numbers can be used when they're calculating the undercut windows for the race tomorrow. So it's not always it's going to be soft tires equal short runs. You can also do long runs on you can also do short runs on hard tires, and you can use that for your undercut strategies in the race tomorrow. The more you know, folks, the more you know. Folks, they're all in the pits, as you can see. Spamming the chat asking where is Oscar is not going to help. He's sat in the pit lane. I will let you know what tyres Yuki is using. He's 1/10 off the back of Verstappen, but currently I don't have any... I don't have a visual on Yuki Tsunoda to tell you which tyres he's using, but they might both be on sets of hards, given that they're both probably on the same run plan. All right, a couple more drivers out onto the track. Those soft tyres for Hamilton, Behrman and Ocon, and then we've got mediums for Gasly, Colapinto, Stroll and Alonso. Norris is out on track, so is Nico Hülkenberg. Norris is out on soft tyres, folks, and then we have got... Piastri's coming out onto the track. I think he'll be on softs as well. Is that Tsunoda? It is, but I still can't tell which tyres he's on. The Ferrari upgrade clearly doesn't work. I mean, we don't really know. Sometimes it does take these teams a race or two to sort of dial in all of the settings for the upgrade package. So maybe it'll be next weekend out in Silverstone that it works. But we'll see. Charles Leclerc is still yet to come out and set a lap. So Hamilton is in third position, and he is 7/10 back from Verstappen, and he is now 8/10 back from Lando Norris, who goes top of the times on a set of soft tyres, while Verstappen was on a set of hards. So you don't really need to look into these lap times too much. Pixie, thanks for Pixis P, thanks for the donation. Tsunoda for the podium. I mean, we'll wait and see. His previous lap wasn't too bad, but yeah, a lot of work still left to do for Tsunoda. The circuit is one of the easier circuits on the calendar, so maybe that will make it a bit easier for Tsunoda, given that the car is very difficult to drive. Stroll goes ahead of Alonso by a couple milliseconds there. Nice lap from Stroll, and he's getting pretty close to matching Fernando Alonso in the previous couple of weekends. So, yeah, maybe he'll score some more points than him. Yeah, that's not happening. Well, actually, to be fair, he is. Stroll has scored more points than Fernando Alonso so far. Alonso was on a dry run. He had eight races in a row where he never scored any points, and then of course broke that at the Spanish Grand Prix at his home race. But if if we look at the Drivers' Championship right now, Lance Stroll is in 12th position with 14 points. Fernando Alonso is 16th position with 8 points. Only a 6-point gap between those two drivers. I know who I would bet on. Where are the Williams drivers? It says they're in the pit lane, folks. Like, yeah. Okay, what did I miss? Because I just joined. Not really much. A lot for the first 10 minutes or so. Everyone was sort of just sat in the pit lane. Some drivers are out doing some short runs. Some drivers are out doing some long runs. But yeah, it is pretty standard stuff for a Saturday morning. Oscar Piastri here on a quick lap, and he's got two drivers getting out of the way nicely. Yeah, Hülkenberg gets out of the way. So does his teammate Lando Norris. Piastri now across the line. What's it going to be? Third place. He's 4/10 back from his teammate Lando Norris. Both drivers were on fresh sets of soft tyres. Piastri just made a mistake, I'm guessing. Let's have a look at his sector times. I think it was the first sector. Yeah, first sector lost a little bit of time. Fernando Alonso purple through the first sector. Didn't even get a toe. He's not got a toe off anyone, but still manages to go purple through the first sector. Pretty good going from Fernando. And, yeah. Very nice, but I think has he backed out of his lap, or is he still continuing? I think he might have backed out of it, made a mistake on the exit of turn number 3. Charles Leclerc, over the sausage curbs he goes on the exit turn number 3, very similar to what Fernando Alonso did, I think. The drivers just carrying a little bit too much speed going through turn number 2, and then they sort of have this muscle memory of, I've hit the apex, time to hit the throttle. But if you're carrying too much speed, you're not going to make the corner. And Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso making the same mistakes by the looks of it, going through the hairpin at turn number 3. In fact, I'll show you an onboard. Tsunoda goes purple through the first sector. Nicely done. 16.4 for him. And I'll show you the difficulties that the drivers sort of have as they go through this, as they go through the apex. Let me skip forward a little bit. Okay. So you're heading towards... you're heading towards turn number 3 here, and you brake at the 100-meter mark. Pretty standard stuff. It's an uphill braking zone, so you can actually brake a lot later than you expect. But when you get towards this apex here, there is a very big gradient shift. Like the track gets very, very steep at the apex. So the problem with that is if you're trying to carry as much speed as you possibly can, if you drive over this sort of crest or this little bump in the road, shall we say, it loses you a lot of grip, and then the rear starts dancing about as you get onto the power, and that's when you exceed track limits. That's when you go over the sausage curb. That's when you lose all your lap time. So you kind of have to miss this apex just ever so slightly so you can have a stable car on the exit of turn number 3. And yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Of course, the drivers are also expected and used to just hitting these apexes, but if you do hit the apex on that corner, then it will sort of send you off flying. Yeah, so then you've got the next couple of corners here going down the hill towards turn number 6 and 7. You exceed track limits there, but it's pretty difficult to stay within track limits. You get a lot of understeer when the conditions are hot. Today, conditions are cooler. It's a little bit easier. We've got purple middle sector there from Lando Norris. Oh yeah, and this final corner here, you can't really tell from this from the video. But as you come towards the final corner, let me just rewind. Okay, so you've got the Rindt corner here, named after Jochen Rindt, Austria's Formula 1 world champion. And then this corner, when the drivers are sat down in the cockpit, of course, you're much lower than this camera angle, and also the track drops away significantly, so you can't actually see the apex for this corner. The drivers are right on the limit. Like, this is as far wide as you can go with your right-hand wheel on the white line, and the drivers are just using a reference point based off where the barrier is to, this is where I should turn in, this is where I'm going to hit this curb. And if you do hit this yellow sausage curb on the inside, you will spin. There's no two ways about it. You're carrying so much speed through that corner. I mean, you're in 5th gear going at 190, 180 Ks. Like, you will spin, and I have footage of that, in fact. If you do hit the inside sausage curb, like I do on this lap there, you hit it and you do a nice spin. So it's very tricky, the final corner, because the drivers genuinely can't see what's coming up. All right, we've had a couple more lap times come through. Lewis Hamilton in that upgraded Ferrari up into second position. Tsunoda and Verstappen yet to set laps on fresh sets of soft, so we'll see what they do once they come out on soft tyres. Hulkenberg up in fifth position, goes ahead of Oscar Piastri, and a very good lap there from Nico Hulkenberg, and Piastri still got more time to improve. Norris on his previous lap, blisteringly quicker, 1 minute 4.888, and yeah, Piastri's got a lot of work to do if he's going to catch his teammate. Why do I not record on F125? It's because I recorded all of these laps before F125 came out. I haven't recorded a lap for Silverstone, so maybe I'll record it on F125. It depends if my computer can actually run it or not. And yeah, how many laps are there in the race? I think it is 71. If I remember correctly, I think it's 71. Yeah. All right. Yeah, great lap though from Hamilton. Purple in the second quickest in the second sector and second quickest in the third sector as well, carrying a lot of speed through those medium speed and high speed corners, losing out down the straights. But you know that can easily be fixed if he can get a toe somehow on his final flying lap. George Russell up into 8th position on a set of soft tyres. Clearly wasn't pushing that hard because yesterday he had a lot of pace. Only 313 k's through the straights, so he's turned down his engine mode as well. Yesterday we were seeing top speeds in the range of 317 kilometers per hour, so the drivers have clearly turned down the engine modes. The Mercedes team have at least. Yeah. Using hard tyres for testing, and later on in qualification round, Max will go on the softs. I mean, all of the drivers in quali will go on the softs. Oh, Antonelli goes a little wide on the exit of turn number 6 there. Over the gravel he goes, but should be fine. No major damage incurred. All right, we got 7,000 people tuned into live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Very much is appreciated. Oh, Behrman coming out over the radio saying the McLaren held up Leclerc, not me. Looks like one of the McLarens are having issues. Oh, we got a replay here of Oscar Piastri. I think he locked up ever so slightly going up into turn number 1 and then also had traffic as well. So not particularly happy there for Piastri in his previous lap. On this lap, though, he does improve and it's a 1:05.4 from Oscar. So pretty solid job there from him. And yeah, he's still half a second back from his teammate, but it's all, as I say, it's on different levels of pushing. Some drivers will be going right up to sort of Q1 levels of pushing. Other drivers will be backing off a little bit because it is FP3 and they don't want to risk crashing the car. Hey F1 Gamer, please tell me how Yuki is doing so well. I mean, Yuki's just set a good lap, really. There's not much else I can say. He's now out. Verstappen's out on a set of hards. Yuki, I think, might have been out on a set of mediums. I don't know, because the thing is, the tyre information screen isn't working, and I didn't get a visual on Yuki to see what tyres he was on. Oh, his lap was on a set of soft tyres. Okay, well, that's why, folks. So Yuki did do a good lap, but it was on a set of softs, whereas Verstappen set his lap on a set of hard tyres, which explains the difference, because normally Yuki Tsunoda is not quicker than Max Verstappen. Normally he's nowhere near him. And yeah, the tyre difference, Yuki was on softs and Verstappen was on hards. That's why he's that far up the grid. Unfortunate to say, really. I'd really like to see Yuki Tsunoda do well, but yeah. Alex Ale, what should I eat today? I'm really not going to answer that question. Like, it's I don't know why you're even asking me that. I'm a high performance Formula 1 commentator, and don't really see how that's relevant. Purple in the middle sector again for Lando Norris, even on a set of used tyres as well. Still going purple through the middle sector, so still got some more lap time left to go. And clearly so, because last year's pole time on 1:04.3 and he's on a 1:04.888. Who's your favourite driver? My favourite driver is Sebastian Vettel, but he's no longer driving, so... yeah. Oh, Sainz up into 8th place. Good luck there from Carlos Sainz. I mean, it would be great to see the Williams do well. They should do well at this circuit, given that it is sort of power-sensitive circuit, top speed-sensitive circuit, which Williams tend to do well at. And the other thing is that they look to be actually a little bit behind the Aston Martins in the previous couple of, well, let's say in the first half of the season, Williams were quite clearly the 5th fastest team. So we'd have the top 4, and then the team after that would always be Williams. But how since Adrian Newey joined Aston Martin, I'm sure he made a couple of little tweaks to the 2025 car, which they introduced in Imola. Since then, Aston Martin has been a lot closer, and their competition with Williams has been a lot more stiff. So maybe it'll be the Astons that make it through into Q3. Maybe it'll be the Williams. Maybe we'll have a surprise and the Saubers will do it. Who knows? Who is my current favorite driver? I mean, if I had to support someone, I would probably say, I don't know, Alonso, Sonoda, and maybe Antonelli, or yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, I'm still a Seb Vettel fan. Like, if anyone asks me that, Seb Vettel's always the answer. Are the Ferrari upgrades working? Well, Hamilton is up there between the two McLarens, so I would like to think so, really. I don't know why Charles Leclerc is so far back, but if Hamilton can extract the pace out of the Ferrari, then I'm sure by the time qualifying rolls around, Charles Leclerc will be able to do the same as well. Because, well, as we look at the qualifying record for this season, it's quite clear to see that Leclerc is the quicker driver out of the two. Norris was doing his laps on soft tyres, but he's now coming to the pits. Antonelli, currently in 17th position, is out on a flying lap on a set of soft tyres. He makes his way up the hill towards turns number 2, and let's see what Kimi Antonelli can do. Yeah, he's got the two Williams. They get out of the way nicely for him, and George Russell improves up into 3rd place, and look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Top three different teams. Cannot wait for qualifying, and Max Verstappen will soon be up there as well, once he bolts on a set of softs instead of a set of hard tyres. I don't know why he's still driving around on hards, but we've still got 30 minutes left of the session, so not really a big issue. Alright, yeah. And let's see what Antonelli can do. Through the middle sector, going pretty well, actually. A 29.136. What's that? 2 tenths slower than Norris in the middle sector. And he's just got the final 2 corners left to go now. Yeah, and across the line he goes. It's 6th position for Kimi Antonelli. Very nicely done. Not too far off the back of his teammate, to be honest, as well. So Antonelli is improving rapidly. He get his first podium in Canada, and now he's looking to close up on George Russell, Mr. Saturday himself. We'll see what Antonelli can do. But the other thing is, George Russell's contract is still up in the air. We don't really know what's happening there. It's been revealed, of course, to no surprise, that Toto Wolff is interested in getting Max Verstappen into the Mercedes team, and that is why the contract talks with George Russell have been stalled, essentially because they want Max Verstappen in, and they're not going to sign a contract with George until they know for 100% chance that Max Verstappen will not be driving the Mercedes car. So, yeah, a bit unfortunate there for George Russell. He's been such a loyal driver. He's stuck with Williams when they weren't so quick, because he was a Mercedes Academy driver. He delivered outstanding performances in the Williams, stepped up to Mercedes, did fantastically against Lewis Hamilton, and then is now potentially going to get axed because Max Verstappen is in talks with joining the team. But it's a very similar thing. If you've got a 4-time world champion knocking on your door saying, I want to drive for your team, one of the drivers is going to have to go. And they've invested so much in Antonelli. They've given him his big break. It wouldn't make sense to... Well, it would make sense to actually get rid of Antonelli. Imagine having a driver combination of George Russell versus Max Verstappen. Incredible driver combination. I mean, that must be the best on the field, surely. But... yeah, I guess they've already signed the contract for Antonelli for I think 2-year deal. So Russell is the driver that's potentially looking to leave. Do you think Oscar will be world champ? I mean, maybe. He's currently leading the championship. It really depends on the next couple of races. I think he's definitely got a shot. He's got to play his cards right. He's got to hope for some luck on his side, and he's got to hope that he doesn't get any DNFs really from engine failures and stuff like that, because that could be the end of that could knock him out of the running for a very, very close championship that we're going to have. All right, Charles Leclerc improves as well up into 5th position. He's a 10th back from Lewis Hamilton. So clearly the Ferrari upgrades are working. They're not too far off the back of the Mercs and the McLarens. And then I'm just waiting now for Verstappen to come into the pits on a set of soft tyres and set his quali lap. But currently he's out on hards, lapping 109s. So he's clearly doing a race run. Okay. Yeah, it's nothing really negative against George Russell. I'm sure any other team would be happy to take George Russell. He's an exceptional driver, exceptionally consistent and quick. The thing is, Max Verstappen is just, I guess, quicker and has the championships to back it up. So it is what it is. Russell might go for Cadillac, maybe. I mean, Valtteri Bottas is in talks, I think, with Cadillac. I saw some post about Valtteri Bottas. Some fan met Valtteri Bottas and also happened to be near a Cadillac, and then they started talking about Cadillac or something. I don't know. But who knows? Maybe Valtteri Bottas is joining Cadillac. He'd be a great choice, really. I think Valtteri Bottas would be a great asset to any team. The experience that he brings, the pace that he brings, the knowledge that he'll also bring from the Mercedes team is going to be invaluable. That's another thing. James Vowles has had his contract extended as the Williams team's principal, and that is in no part due to the fact that Williams have, of course, progressed up the field, and the reason why that has happened is because James Vowles was a part of the successful championship winning Mercedes team. He knew exactly why the team was so successful. He carried over that knowledge, that expertise over to the Williams team, and then the Williams teams was able to improve. The same thing happened with the same thing will happen, I think, with Adrian Newey as he joins Aston Martin. He'll come to Aston Martin. He'll say, "Oh, this style of development is wrong. Or you should be looking to do a little bit more research in this area. You should spend a little bit less money here." And these sort of high level decisions that Adrian Newey and the knowledge that these individuals can bring to the team really do. Are a key driving factor in improvement in the teams. So I guess we'll see what happens. Jonathan Wheatley left Red Bull. He's gone to, I think, Sauber. Mattia Binotto has left Ferrari. He went to Sauber. And then Cadillac will be looking to get in some Formula One expertise into their team. And what better way to get some expertise in than Valtteri Bottas? Yuki's ahead of Max. Goated? I mean, maybe, but he's only ahead of Max because Tsunoda said his quickest lap on a set of softs. Max Verstappen said his quickest lap on a set of hard tyres. And that explains the lap time difference, folks. Checo has big dollars to back it up as well. Yeah, that's very true. You have Checo and you have Valtteri Bottas. You have all of the knowledge and the experience in the world. You also get the big bucks from Sergio Perez's sponsors. Why not? It would be fantastic to build a team around those two drivers. But then maybe Cadillac want to have some American driver for sort of heritage reasons or whatever, for PR reasons. It'd be a great marketing opportunity to all of the American fans. So I guess we shall see. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. Hopefully, we can make our way towards 1,000 likes. And also, if you haven't hit the subscribe button as well, be sure to do that. Hopefully, we can make our way towards 174k subs by the end of today. We've got another 23 minutes left of practice, and then we have 2 hours and 53 minutes left till qualifying. And a lot of action up ahead in quali. Just look at the top 4, top 5. It's all different drivers, all different teams. Obviously, it's different drivers. They're not going to be multiple drivers in the top 5. It's not going to be the same drivers, in the top 5. But different teams, and the competition is fairly tight. The blue in the sectors means the drivers have driven into the pit lane. It's the pit lane entry and exit. So as you can see, Lando Norris is on an outlap. So he's got a couple of purple mini sectors indicating that he's driving out the pit lane. All the drivers that are currently in the pits, they have got yellow. They've got blue, in the final sector because they have driven through the pit lane to get to their garage. Yeah. Oh, we got a replay here. Oscar Piastri going through Rint corner turn number 9, kicking up a lot of gravel. He missed the apex ever so slightly and then ran wide. He still managed to stay within track limits. So his front right wheel, just gliding over the front, gliding over that white line, but lost a huge amount of lap time there. And yeah. Also, folks, if you are watching this coverage out on TikTok, someone has stolen my content and stuck it up on TikTok. So if you want to watch the original sort of content creator and the commentator with a lot more people in the chat and stuff like that, if you pop onto YouTube and search F1 Gamer, then you can, you can watch the original commentator and not, help someone's channel or account that's just stealing content, essentially. That would very much be appreciated. Charles Leclerc improves. He goes up into second position and he goes ever so slightly back from Lando Norris. Maybe Ferrari are back, ladies and gentlemen. Ferrari might be back. They brought a big old upgrade package to the floor. Both cars have got that installed on their car right now, and they're currently up into 3. Yeah. All right. Also, folks, if you do want to type in the chat and it's not letting you type in the chat, all you've got to do is press the subscribe button and subscribe for 1 minute, and then it'll let you type in the chat. I just have it set up that way so we don't have spammers spamming away who aren't actually part of the channel. Okay, George Russell, purple through the first sector. Let's see what he can do. Verstappen now is in the pits. He's done his long run. He did 20 laps on a set of hard tyres. So pretty useful information there for the team. And now he's going to bolt on a set of softs and go qualifying. He's 1 second, 1/10 up, through the middle sector is George Russell. Now he's just got the final 2 corners left to go, deals with them very nicely, and now coming across the line, what's it going to be for George? Second place for George, fantastic. He's a 10th back from Lando Norris, and the top 3 different teams, and I'm sure Max Verstappen will come to join them and give them some company. F1 Gamer, do you think Tsunoda deserves all the hate? I mean, he's still learning, and I think he's doing good for where he keeps starting and climbs up the back. Yeah, I mean, Antonelli also improves up into 3rd position. Great lap there from Antonelli. To answer your question about Tsunoda, Mercedes have turned up their power unit as well. Their top speeds are now 317 kilometers per hour rather than 314 and 313 that they were doing earlier in the session. So that explains the increase in pace. And also the driver's pushing a little bit harder. They're on a fresh set of softs. To answer your question about Tsunoda, he is in a very tough situation right now. I think it's very clear to anyone watching Formula 1 that the number 2 seat at Red Bull, it's practically impossible to drive that car if you aren't Max Verstappen. And, Tsunoda essentially... the thing is, Tsunoda's been given a lot more slack because of what happened to Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson came into the car and qualified in 20th position 3 races in a row, and then he got replaced, right? And essentially, because that happened, people are like, oh, the Red Bull car is undrivable, and then every time Tsunoda does something bad, it's not so much Tsunoda's fault, it's more so the car's fault. And I think that's a fair assessment as well, because Tsunoda in the RB was doing great. He wasn't really that slow. He was delivering good performances, and then he suddenly goes to the Red Bull and he's really slow. And it's pretty clear to see that it is the car that is causing him to lose out so much. So I don't really know. Red Bull have just got a really big problem. Like, the only person that can drive their car is Max Verstappen. Let's just say, for whatever reason, Max Verstappen could not drive the next 2 races, then Red Bull go from the 2nd quickest team, the 3rd quickest team, all the way down to most like into the midfield. They're like 6th fastest, maybe 7th fastest. Like, it is not ideal for the Red Bull team. And that's why a lot of people have just been calling it Max Verstappen racing rather than Red Bull racing, because Max Verstappen's the only one that can extract any pace out of that car. F1 Gamer, I made some chicken with rice and broccoli. Sounds pretty good there, Alex. F1 Gamer, do you use multiviewer? Indeed so. I do use multiviewer, but of course the stuff that you got up on the stream is still pretty custom. I had to do a lot of adjusting and tweaking with multiviewer to get it to work that way. Yeah, great lap from Alonso as well, up into sixth place, and it looked like, yeah, looking from the quali pace from yesterday, the Astons are the fifth fastest team, according to the stuff from yesterday. You know, maybe Williams haven't turned up their engine mode yet. But the thing is, though, we have seen an uptick in Mercedes powering issues in the recent couple of weeks, and maybe Williams, just as a precautionary measure, are turning down their engine modes in practice, and then they're going to, of course, turn them up for quali in the race, and yeah, maybe that is what they're up to. Why does Lando keep starting a lap in the first corner and then stopping? I think he must just be making a mistake, to be honest with you. But Norris is out on a fresh set of soft tyres. He's done one lap already. Oh, no, he hasn't. He backed out of it. Yeah, he must have just made mistakes. Nothing else that I can really explain. It's a bit difficult around the circuit. There aren't that many corners. It's not that long of a circuit. So maintaining your tyre temperature and your brake temperature is a bit of an issue. Because let me show you, right? So the drivers have a big braking zone here into turn number 1. They have a big braking zone into 2 and into 3 and into 4. And then you tap the brakes for turn number 6, tap the brakes for turn number 7, tap the brakes for turn number 9, tap the brakes for turn number 10. Like through the second half of the lap here, your brakes are just losing temperature. And by the time you hit turn number 1, your brakes might be a little bit too cold. So it's quite easy to lock up or overshoot your braking because your brakes just aren't up to temperature. So yeah, that could be the issue that Lando Norris was having. I can't tell you for certain, but that is the problem. That's one of the challenges that the drivers face. Is that the second half of this lap isn't very intensive on the brakes, and the first half is super intensive. So who knows? But Norris's first sector, clearly he's nailed it. First sector and second sector all purple. Third time's the charm, I guess. 3:15 Ks through the speed trap for Lando Norris. So his engine mode isn't fully turned up yet. I can tell you that for certain. Now he's just got the final 2 corners left to go. Deals with them very nicely across the line. And what's the lap time going to be for Lando Norris? Currently up in first position. Is it purple in all 3 sectors? Yes, it is. It is a 1:04.324. He is 10 milliseconds off last year's pole time. Last year, Max Verstappen got pole with a 1:04.314, and right now Lando Norris is set a 1:04.324 rather than a 3:14. But yeah, here we are in FP3, and the drivers are setting the same lap time as last year's pole time. So expecting quali, we may even dip down into the 1 minute threes, 1 minute. Oh, who's this? Isaac Hadjar, yellow flag is out. Oh no, he's just driving slowly. Seems like it might be an engine issue for him, but engine or gearbox issue. We'll keep an eye out on the radio messages for Isaac Hadjar, but oh no, it's all good now. Maybe he had a spin or something, but a yellow flag for whatever reason, and he continues on his way. Alright, Ocon improves up into 12th, Behrman improves up into 6th, great lap there from Behrman, and Stroll up into 4th again. Stroll was 4th in FP2, and now he's 4th in FP3. Isaac Hadjar, yeah, he just had a spin in on the final corner, going over the gravel, spun the car, but managed to do a perfect 360 and kept going in the same direction. So pretty good driving there from Hadjar, and nice car control as well. But he did flat spot his tyres, which means he's going to be driving pretty slowly on them before that flat spot wears out. Yeah, brilliant there from Stroll. We'll see what Alonso can do, but Alonso's currently sat in the pits. Verstappen also still sat in the pits. We haven't seen a quick lap from him yet. His previous lap was on a set of hard tyres, and yeah, I guess we'll see. Alright, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. We've got 14 minutes left on the clock. If you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. Very much is appreciated. Bortoletto improves up into 6th position. Nicely done. Alright. Bottas has made that hilarious video about the Cadillac seat, lol. Not yet. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll get announced later. Maybe he's already signed the contract and he just can't tell anyone. But Valtteri Bottas is in serious talks, I presume, to joining that Cadillac team, and I see no reason why not. Really, he's a fantastic driver. Okay, yeah, stay hydrated, folks. Remember to drink some water. What is it? How much water do do humans need? I think it's like 3 liters or something. I don't know. But yeah, make sure to drink some water. All right, we got Tsunoda on a flying lap here. He is half a second down on Norris, going through the second sector line. He's now got the final sector left to go, keeping it nice and tidy. Doesn't look like he's pushing overly hard. Opens that DRS flap as he comes across the finish line now, and it is 5th position there for Tsunoda. Not too shabby. He's 8 tenths down on Norris this time. Lost 3 tenths in the middle sector alone, actually. In the final sector alone, sorry. So still some improvement left to go for Tsunoda. But if he's not feeling confident in the car, he can't push it 100%. So that is the problem that he's been facing. Maybe this race might be a little bit better, though. I guess we'll see. And yeah, Ferrari, they look to be good, but now they're down in 6th and 8th position. We've still got 12 minutes left on the clock now, and in the final 12 minutes, we will have some quali sims. Certainly, we'll be getting Max Verstappen coming out onto the track on a set of softs, and then we'll have the other drivers as well. Maybe on a fresh set, maybe on a used set, but regardless, the drivers are now just building up to qualifying, getting that rhythm going, and once they have that rhythm going, it just makes it a lot easier for quali. Okay, what else have we got going on then? Not that much, really. Not all that much. Only a couple of drivers out onto the track. Oscar Piastri, though, purple in the first sector. Very nicely done. Tsunoda gets out of the way. He is 25 milliseconds down on Norris as he comes through the second sector line, and now he's just got the final sector left to go. What can Oscar Piastri do? Can he get this final sector nailed? Goes through the penultimate corner quite nicely. Just avoids the gravel at the final corner. Across the line he comes. It is 2nd position. It is a McLaren 1-2, a Mercedes 3-4, and we'll see what Verstappen can do to spoil the fun of those two teams. But pretty good going indeed. Still a 10th down is Oscar Piastri compared to Lando Norris, but that can turn around very quickly in quali, as we've seen it happen before. Also, if we look at the theoretical best lap times, both Norris and Piastri have set their theoretical best lap times here around this circuit on their most previous laps. So Lando Norris' theoretical best lap time is the lap time that he set, and same thing for Piastri. So these drivers have pushed the car to the limits, and they've dealt with it actually fantastically. They haven't made a mistake here or there. I mean, it's a short circuit, so there are less opportunities to make mistake, but regardless, the drivers are achieving their theoretical best times, which is always a good sign, and that's what the drivers want to see when they're going into quali. They can have that confidence, oh, I'm not making too many mistakes, everything's going to be all good. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have got some good news. Max Verstappen is coming out onto the circuit with a fresh set of soft tyres. Let's see where he's going to place. Is he going to top the McLarens? He has, of course, got a floor upgrade. Or is he going to split the McLarens and the Mercedes? What is going to happen? Let me know in the chat. Yeah. 9 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. Okay. So, here we go then. Alright, yeah, pretty slow out lap, pretty standard stuff really from Max. Just getting those tyres up to temperature, getting those brakes up to temperature as well. And turn number... yeah, just going through turn number 4 now. Okay, Norris is out. He's out on a used set of soft tyres. Piastri is coming out as well. He's also out on a used set. It looks like all the teams that are coming out on a set of softs, they will most likely be coming out on a used set. Apart from the Ferraris, Leclerc and Hamilton, it is a fresh set of tyres for them, which is good news for us. Gives us a little bit more of a representative lap time. Okay, Lando Norris up again in the purple first sector. And yeah, Norris purple in all 3 sectors, quickest in sector 1, 2 and 3, and Oscar Piastri second quickest in sectors 1, 2 and 3. So yeah, Piastri, there's no specific corner where he's got to gain lap time. It's just every little bit here and there he's got to gain lap time. And Charles Leclerc, what a final sector, up into third position from him on a fresh set of softs. Looking good, looking good. Only a quarter of a second back. And the Ferrari upgrades may still be working, folks. They may still be working. Can't tell as of yet, but the pace is looking good so far. Max Verstappen now, he's on his flying lap. What can he do in the first sector is 16.3, and Norris's purple first sector is 16.2. So a tenth or so slower through the first sector. That can easily be made up with a toe or not a toe. And now the middle sector time for Max, 28.7. Lando Norris, 28.6. So again, a tenth lost there for Max Verstappen, and let's see what he can do through the final sector now. All right. Oh, third position there for Max Verstappen. Brilliant lap, and he is 2/10 back. Top four drivers are from three different teams, and Mercedes now. Mercedes look to be slower than the Ferraris. I mean, they are out on a used set of tyres, so that will explain some of the pace difference, but it is going to be so close in qualifying. I mean, I just cannot fathom. We have got, it's always incredible to think about. We've got how many cars here? Let's say, the top 5 cars, they have all been designed by 5,000 different mechanics, right? Different mechanics, engineers, technicians. They've all worked on these cars separately. The Ferrari, the Red Bull, and the McLaren have all three got 3 different power units, each individually designed by different people, and they all still managed to go within 2/10, a quarter of a second of each other around a lap of Austria. Super duper close. And the qualifying session, it's anyone's game, really. If I was to put out a poll now, it'd be 25%, 25%, 25%. Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc, like anyone's game for pole position. Maybe even George Russell as well, if he comes out on a fresh set, but he's currently out on a used one. And a great race incoming as well, because here with 3 DRS zones, it is, just really good, essentially. 3 DRS zones, overtaking opportunities are everywhere. Do you think Red Bull would be washed without Max? Oh yeah, for 100%, because without Max, they'd be down in 9th position where Tsunoda is right now. All right, let me take you through a lap of the circuit here, folks, while we're waiting for a couple more drivers to do some hot laps. So let me just fast forward a little bit. All right, so you come through the penultimate corner here, you hit this final apex, miss the yellow curb on the inside, otherwise you will spin onto the main straight. DRS open, the drivers just shifting up through the gears now. Braking at the 80 meter mark, it's an uphill braking zone, so you can brake later than you expect. And again, you've got DRS here down this straight, super long DRS zone, really good overtaking opportunity in towards turn number 2. Then you brake again at the 100 meter mark, another uphill braking zone, really helps with slowing the car down. And then miss that apex at turn number 2, it gets you a little bit better traction on the exit, because the track's just a little bit flatter, which the cars do prefer. Now downhill braking for turn number 4 here, very easy to lock up and go off into the gravel. We've seen it happen before in races and qualifyings, and we'll just have to see what happens during the quali session in 2 hours and 30 minutes time. But there's always just so much action on this quali session. I suspect we're going to get at least 1 red flag for a driver crashing. Exceeding track limits is very easy, as I've just shown you there, and the drivers will be doing their absolute best to stay within track limits. The FIA, however, in the previous couple of years now, have added gravel to the exit of corners where track limits is an issue. So because there's gravel on the exit of these corners, the drivers are much less likely to actually exceed track limits. We shouldn't have a situation where we had like a couple years ago where there were lap times getting deleted left, right and centre, and you really couldn't tell who was getting pole position and who wasn't. This year it will be a lot more clear cut. Maybe we'll get 1 or 2 laps still getting deleted, but I'll let you know when and where that happens. Gravel does work, and it just loses huge amounts of lap times, cause the drivers to spin, and the drivers hate nothing more than losing lap time. Okay. Quickest driver through the straights, Carlos Sainz, 319 Ks. Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, 318 Ks. We got Tsunoda, 318 as well. And then the Mercs, 317s. And the Lando Norris is actually... Oh, yellow flag. Who's this for? Tsunoda. Oh, no. Turn number 1. Yuki Tsunoda. Double yellows waving. What has happened here for Tsunoda? Oh, we're just getting the footage coming up. Give me a second. Sonoda, has he damaged the car severely? By the looks of it, no. Just another spin on the exit turn number 1, sausage curb. It is what it is, really. It is super duper tricky, and yeah, he gets on his way. Yellow flag cleared up, and we are back to green flag conditions. 3 minutes left on the clock here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks everyone for coming along. We've got 9,000 people tuned into to a free practice stream, which is incredible to see. And yeah, really do appreciate it. For anyone listening to this like a radio broadcast, I'm just going to read out all of the positions for the drivers. So we've got Norris in first, Piastri in second, Verstappen in third, Leclerc and Hamilton in fourth and fifth, Russell and Antonelli in sixth and seventh, Stroll and Sonoda in eighth and ninth, Bortoleto in 10th, Lawson 11th, Hülkenberg 12th, Albon and Sainz 13th and 14th, Alonso in 15th after not setting an improved lap time on a fresh set of softs. We got Behrman in 16th, Gasly in 17th, Ocon in 18th, Colapinto in 19th, and Isaac Hadjar down in 20th position, 1.6 seconds off Lando Norris. Right. Yeah. Oh, another yellow flag. Who's this? Verstappen. Double yellow, and he continues on going. It looks like another spin on the exit of the final corner. Verstappen was complaining about the car twitching around in the final corner, and a yellow flag was briefly deployed as Verstappen continues on his way. Yeah. It is what it is. The driver's having a bit of a tough time here. The Red Bull not being the most stable car that the world has ever seen. Yeah, Antonelli going over some gravel as well. All of the drivers now pushing the limits and getting a sort of a mental picture of what's going to be the quickest, what's going to be the slowest. Oh, actually, it wasn't even Verstappen having an issue. I think Antonelli just kicked up a bunch of gravel, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what happened. But either way, yeah, that yellow flag's been cleared up very quickly. Yeah, my footage keeps buffering for whatever reason. I don't know why, but Sky Sports, what can I tell you? Okay. Why is McLaren taking so long in the pits? I mean, McLaren just have not much else to do, really. McLaren know that they have the pace, so they're not really worried about doing loads of laps around the circuit. But yeah, folks, we have got 40 seconds left on the clock. We are 39 likes away from hitting 1,000 like target. So folks, if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. One final thing that I forgot to mention all stream, which I probably should have. If you guys are interested in watching the Formula 1 coverage for only $2 a month, what you can do is get Surfshark VPN using the link in the description. You join an Austrian VPN server. You go onto Google, you search ORF, and that's O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari. You log in, you make an account, and then you watch the Formula 1 footage. Yeah, the commentary is in German, so if you don't understand German, then you mute the coverage, you play mine on top of it, but that way you get to watch the coverage and also listen to the commentary, and it's a win-win, really. There's a yellow flag out there for Colapinto at turn number 3, but I'm sure that's just another spin. It's not a particularly high-speed corner, so he should be good to go. And yeah, that is the end of the session here, folks. The checkered flag is waving, so if you guys are interested in getting Surfshark, check it out. There's a link in the description. But that's all from me. Qualifying, as you can see there on the top right of the screen, 2 hours and 30 seconds. 2 hours and 30 minutes, not 30 seconds. That is when qualifying begins. So I'm going to end the stream now. I'll take you over to the qualifying stream. If you could hit the like button and the reminder button on the qualifying stream, really does help out the channel. But apart from that, there's not much else for me to say, to be honest. Yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. We're going to have a super duper exciting qualifying session. I mean, the pack is so compressed. Ferrari have got upgrades. They look to be quick. Verstappen's got his upgrades on his car. He should be competing with the McLarens. And, you know, George Russell and Antonelli could pull laps out of nowhere. So I don't know who's going to be getting pole position, and that is the beauty of Formula 1. So I look forward to seeing you guys in 2 hours' time for the quali stream. And, yeah. Thanks for coming along. Just hit the like button, the reminder button on the quali stream, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen. All right.